First contact and underestimation. The vast expanse of space stretched out before the Zarkonian flagship, the Celestial Conqueror. Admiral Vexthor stood on the bridge, his four eyes scanning the holographic displays surrounding him. The Zarkonian Empire had been expanding for centuries, conquering or subjugating every species they encountered. Now they had reached the edge of a new galaxy, ripe for conquest. "Admiral," the sensor officer called out, her voice tinged with excitement. "We've detected an unknown vessel at the edge of this system." Vexthor's antennae twitched with interest. "Show me," he commanded. A holographic image flickered to life in the center of the bridge. The alien ship was unlike anything the Zarkonians had ever seen. It was small, barely a quarter of the size of the Celestial Conqueror, with a design that seemed almost primitive. Laughter rippled through the bridge crew. Even Vexthor couldn't suppress a chuckle. "Is this the best this galaxy has to offer?" He mused aloud. "Hail them. Let's see what kind of creatures pilot such a pathetic vessel." The communications officer worked her console, and soon a visual link was established. The bridge crew fell silent as the image of the alien captain appeared on screen. The being was bictal, with pinkish skin and a tuft of fur on top of its head. It wore a uniform of some sort, adorned with unfamiliar symbols. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Horizon," the alien spoke, its voice translated by the Zarkonian computers. "We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations." Vexthor's mandibles clicked in amusement. "I am Admiral Vexthor of the Zarkonian Empire. Your offer of diplomacy is noted, but unnecessary. Your ship and your species are clearly inferior to ours. Surrender now, and we may allow you to serve us as menial laborers." The alien captain's expression remained calm, but there was a glint in her eyes that Vexthor couldn't quite interpret. "I'm afraid we must decline your generous offer, Admiral. We have no intention of surrendering." Murmurs of disbelief echoed through the Zarkonian bridge. Vexthor's amusement turned to irritation. "You dare defy the Zarkonian Empire? Your puny vessel would be destroyed in seconds if we chose to attack." Captain Chen's lips curved into what the Zarkonians would later learn was called a smile. "Perhaps," she said, "but appearances can be deceiving. We'd prefer to resolve this peacefully, but we're prepared to defend ourselves if necessary." Vexthor's patience wore thin. "Enough of this foolishness. You have one planetary rotation to surrender, or we will destroy your ship and any others we find in this galaxy. The Zarkonian Empire does not tolerate insolence." Without waiting for a response, Vexthor cut the communication. He turned to his weapons officer. "Prepare a low-yield plasma burst. Let's give these primitives a demonstration of our power." As the Celestial Conqueror's weapons charged, the sensor officer suddenly cried out in alarm. "Admiral, the alien ship, it's gone." Vexthor whirled around, his exoskeleton creaking with the sudden movement. "What do you mean gone? Did they have some kind of cloaking technology?" "No, sir," the officer replied, her voice trembling. "One moment it was there, and the next, it simply vanished. There's no trace of it anywhere in the system." Confusion and unease settled over the bridge. Vexthor's mind raced. In all their conquests, they had never encountered a species that could simply disappear. "Search the entire system," he ordered. "They must be hiding somewhere." For hours, the Celestial Conqueror scanned every planet, moon, and asteroid in the system, but there was no sign of the Earth ship Horizon. It was as if it had never existed. As the futile search continued, Vexthor couldn't shake the feeling that they had grossly underestimated these humans. The memory of Captain Chen's confident smile haunted him. What kind of technology did they possess that allowed them to vanish so completely? And more importantly, what other surprises might they have in store? For the first time in his long career, Admiral Vexthor felt a twinge of fear. The Zarkonian Empire had always been the superior force, but now they were facing an unknown. And in the vast, unforgiving expanse of space, The unknown could be terrifying. As the first planetary rotation came to an end, Vexthor made a decision. He would not report this encounter to the Empire just yet. No, he needed more information. He needed to understand what they were dealing with before they committed to a full-scale invasion. "Set a course for the next system," he ordered, his voice betraying none of his inner turmoil. "We'll continue our exploration, but stay alert. These humans may be more than they appear." As the Celestial Conqueror's engines hummed to life, preparing to move deeper into the new galaxy, Vexthor couldn't help but wonder, had they just encountered their first real challenge in centuries? And if so, were the Zarkonians truly prepared for what lay ahead? The stars streaked by as the massive ship entered faster than light travel, leaving behind a system that held more questions than answers. Somewhere out there, the Horizon and its enigmatic crew were waiting. And Vexthor had a feeling that this was only the beginning of a story that would reshape the galaxy as they knew it. The human ship's secret. Light years away from the bewildered Zarkonians, the Earth ship Horizon reappeared in a burst of blue-white energy. The bridge crew erupted into cheers, their excitement palpable in the recycled air of the ship. Captain Sarah Chen allowed herself a moment to bask in their success before turning to her chief engineer. "Dr. Patel, how did the Alcubierre drive hold up?" Amrita Patel's fingers danced across her console, analyzing the data from their first real-world test of the experimental propulsion system. "Better than we could have hoped, Captain. The warp bubble remained stable throughout the jump, and we've arrived precisely at our target coordinates." Chen nodded, a mixture of pride and relief washing over her. Humanity had done it. They had achieved faster than light travel, and in doing so, had just outmaneuvered an alien threat that outgunned them in every conventional way. "Communications," Chen called out. "Send an encrypted burst transmission to Earth. Let them know we've made first contact, and, well, let's just say it didn't go as smoothly as we hoped." As her orders were carried out, Chen couldn't help but reflect on the enormity of what had just transpired. Humanity had long theorized about the existence of alien life, but to actually encounter it, and to find it so hostile, was sobering. The ship's XO, Commander Jack Torres, approached her chair. "Captain, what's our next move?" That alien ship could be anywhere by now. Chen's expression hardened. "We stick to the mission, Commander. We're here to explore and establish peaceful contact if possible. But now we know we need to be prepared for the worst." She stood, addressing the entire bridge crew. "What we've just experienced changes everything. We're not alone in the universe, and not everyone out there is friendly. But we've also proven that humanity can hold its own. Our technology, our ingenuity, it's our greatest strength." As if on cue, the ship's AI, ARIA, Advanced Reconnaissance and Intelligence Assistant, chimed in. "Captain, I've completed my analysis of the alien vessel. Based on their energy emissions and visible weaponry, I estimate their technological level to be approximately 75 years ahead of Earth's, in most areas." The "in most areas" wasn't lost on anyone. The Horizon's Alcubierre drive was centuries ahead of anything the aliens had demonstrated. "Thank you, ARIA," Chen said. "Keep monitoring all frequencies. We need to know if they're searching for us." For the next few days, the Horizon cautiously explored the nearby systems, always ready to activate their warp drive at a moment's notice. They discovered habitable planets, strange astronomical phenomena, and tantalizing hints of other civilizations. But there was no sign of the Zarkonians. It was during a routine survey of a gas giant's moons that ARIA's voice broke the relative calm of the bridge. "Captain, I'm detecting a distress signal. It's not human, but it's not Zarkonian either." Chen straightened in her chair. "Source: the third moon of the gas giant. The signal is weak, but I'm detecting signs of a small outpost or crashed ship on the surface." The bridge crew looked to their captain, tension evident in their postures. This could be a trap, or it could be a chance to make a more positive first contact. Chen didn't hesitate. "Plot a course. We'll approach cautiously, but we can't ignore a call for help. As the horizon descended through the moon's thin atmosphere, they saw the source of the distress signal, a small ship, clearly damaged, half buried in the icy surface. Scans showed 3 life signs, faint but present. "It's not Zarkonian design," Commander Torres observed. "Could be survivors of another encounter with them." Chen nodded grimly. "Prepare a rescue team. Full environmental suits and armed, just in case. I'll lead it myself." Despite protests from her senior staff about the risk, Chen knew this was too important to delegate. As she donned her suit and checked her equipment, she addressed her team. "Remember, we're here to help, but stay alert. This is a first contact situation, and we need to make a better impression than the Zarkonians did with us." The rescue team deployed, crossing the icy terrain towards the crashed ship. As they approached, a hatch on the vessel slowly opened. 3 figures emerged, their alien forms obscured by the mist of escaping atmosphere. Chen stepped forward, her universal translator ready. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Horizon. We're here to help." The lead alien, a being with iridescent scales and large, multifaceted eyes, responded in a melodious language that the translator took a moment to decipher. "I am Zalthera of the Nilari Collective. We did not expect to be found." "Not after." The alien's voice trailed off, and Chen saw what could only be described as fear in those strange eyes. "After what?" She pressed gently. "After the Zarkonians destroyed our world," Zalthera finished, the translator somehow conveying the deep sorrow in the alien's voice. The revelation hit Chen like a physical blow. The Zarkonians weren't just aggressive. They were genocidal, and humanity had only narrowly avoided becoming their latest victims. As her team began to assist the Nilari survivors, Chen's mind raced. They had stumbled upon something much bigger than a simple rescue mission. They now had potential allies, and more importantly, information about the threat that loomed over Earth and countless other worlds. Back on the horizon, as the Nilari were treated in the medical bay, Chen convened an emergency meeting with her senior staff. "The situation has changed," she began, her voice grave. "We're no longer just explorers. We may be the only thing standing between Earth and annihilation." Commander Torres leaned forward. "What are you suggesting, Captain?" Chen's eyes blazed with determination. "We use every advantage we have. Our warp drive, our eye, our human ingenuity, to gather allies, collect intelligence, and find a way to stop the Zarkonian Empire before they can threaten our home." She paused, looking at each of her officers in turn. "I won't lie to you. This mission just became a lot more dangerous, but the fate of our species, and who knows how many others, may depend on what we do next." The room was silent for a moment before Dr. Petal spoke up. "The Alcubierre drive gives us an edge they won't expect. We can go places they can't, gather information they can't protect." Araya's voice joined the conversation. "I can begin analyzing Nilari technology for compatibility with our systems. There may be synergies we can exploit." One by one, the senior staff voiced their support. They had signed up to explore the stars, but now they have found a higher calling. As the meeting concluded, Chen stood by the window, gazing out at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Zarkonians were continuing their campaign of conquest, unaware that they had awakened a force they couldn't comprehend. Humanity had entered the galactic stage not with a whimper, but with a bang. And if Sarah Chen had anything to say about it, they would not go quietly into the night. The Horizon and her crew would become the vanguard of Earth's defense, a beacon of hope for oppressed species across the galaxy. The journey ahead would be perilous, but as Chen looked at her determined crew and their new Nilari allies, she felt a surge of confidence. Humanity had faced extinction-level threats before, from their own world and beyond. Each time, they had survived, adapted, and emerged stronger. This time would be no different. The Zarkonians had no idea what they had started, but they were about to find out. Escalation and revelation. The Horizon glided silently through the void. its Alcubierre drive allowing it to slip between the stars like a ghost. In the weeks since rescuing the Nilari survivors, Captain Sarah Chen and her crew had been busy. They'd made contact with other species, each with their own tale of Zarkonian aggression. A network was forming, a coalition of the oppressed and the hunted. On the bridge, Chen studied the holographic map that displayed their discoveries. Pinpoints of light represented potential allies, while vast swathes of darkness marked Zarkonian-controlled space. It was a daunting sight. "Captain," Araya's voice broke the silence. "I've completed my analysis of the data provided by our allies. I believe I've identified a pattern in Zarkonian expansion." Chen leaned forward, intrigued. "Show me." The holographic display shifted, highlighting specific systems and plotting courses between them. "The Zarkonians aren't expanding randomly," Araya explained. "They're following specific resource-rich pathways, and if my predictions are correct, their next target will be here." A system flashed red near the edge of known space. Commander Torres frowned. "That's not far from Earth." "No," Chen agreed, her expression grim. "It's not. How long until they reach it?" Araya. "Based on observed Zarkonian FTL capabilities, approximately 3 Earth months." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They were running out of time. "We need to warn Earth," Chen said, breaking the silence. "And we need to find a way to stop the Zarkonians before they get there." Dr. Paddle spoke up from her station. "Captain, I've been working with Zalthera on integrating some Nilari tech with our systems. We might have something that could give us an edge." Chen nodded. "Show me." In the engine room, Patil and Zalthera stood before a modified console. The iridescent scales of the Nilari scientists shimmered under the bright lights. "We've managed to combine Nilari sensor technology with Araya's predictive algorithms," Patil explained. "It allows us to detect quantum fluctuations that precede a ship dropping out of FTL. In essence, we can see Zarkonian ships coming before they arrive." Chen's eyes widened. "That's incredible. How accurate is it?" Zalthera's multifaceted eyes blinked in a pattern that the human crew had learned to recognize as excitement. "In our simulations, 98.7% accurate, with a detection range of approximately 2 light-years." For the first time in weeks, Chen felt a glimmer of hope. This could change everything. "Well done, both of you." As they made their way back to the bridge, alarms suddenly blared. "Captain, to the bridge." Torres' voice crackled over the comm. Chen broke into a run, Patil and Zalthera close behind. As they burst onto the bridge, they were met with a sight that made their blood run cold. On the main view screen, a massive fleet of Zarkonian ships hung in space. At its center was a vessel that dwarfed even the Celestial Conqueror. "How did they find us?" Chen demanded. Araya's voice was uncharacteristically hesitant. "Unknown, Captain. They appeared to drop out of FTL simultaneously, overwhelming our sensors." Chen's mind raced. Had the Zarkonians developed their own method of FTL travel, or had they somehow tracked the horizon? Before she could voice her thoughts, the communications officer called out, "We're being hailed, Captain." Chen straightened her uniform. On screen, the image of Admiral Vexthor filled the view screen, his 4 eyes gleaming with malice. "Captain Chen," he said, his mandibles clicking in what might have been amusement. "Did you think you could hide from the Zarkonian Empire forever?" Chen met his gaze steadily. "We weren't hiding, Admiral. We were learning. About you, about the galaxy, about the countless species you've terrorized." Vexthor's expression darkened. "You've meddled in affairs beyond your understanding, human. You're primitive. A ship may have some tricks, but you're hopelessly outmatched. Surrender now, and I might consider sparing your homeworld." Chen's eyes narrowed. "You're bluffing. You don't know where Earth is." The Admiral's mandibles spread in what could only be described as a sinister grin. "Are you willing to take that chance?" A chill ran down Chen's spine. Could the Zarkonians have found Earth already? She couldn't risk it. "What do you want?" she asked, buying time as her mind raced for a solution. "Your ship," Vexthor replied. "More specifically, the technology that allows you to disappear. Give it to us, and we'll leave your species in peace, for now." Chen's hand tightened on the arm of her chair. The Alcubierre drive in Zarkonian hands would be catastrophic for the galaxy. But if they really have found Earth? Suddenly, Aria's voice whispered in Chen's earpiece. "Captain, I've detected a vulnerability in the Zarkonian fleet's formation. If we can get a targeted data burst to the right ship, I believe I can trigger a cascade failure in their communications network." It was a risky plan, but it was the only one they had. Chen took a deep breath, then addressed Vexthor. "You want our technology, Admiral. Come in and take it." Without waiting for a response, she cut the transmission. "Aria, execute your plan. Helm, prepare for emergency warp jump on my mark." The bridge erupted into action. As the massive Zarkonian fleet began to move, Aria launched her cyber attack. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, like dominoes falling, ship after ship in the Zarkonian fleet began to lose power. "Now," Chen shouted. The Horizon's Alcubierre drive hummed to life, creating a bubble of warped space around the ship. Just as the first Zarkonian energy weapons began to fire, the Earth vessel vanished in a flash of blue-white light. When they reappeared light years away, the bridge crew let out a collective breath they hadn't realized they'd been holding. "Status report," Chen demanded. "All systems operational," Torres reported. "No pursuit detected." Chen allowed herself a small smile. They'd survived, but the war had just begun in earnest. "Set a course for Earth, maximum speed. We need to warn them and prepare for what's coming." As the Horizon streaked through space, Chen gazed out at the stars. They'd dealt the Zarkonians a blow, but it was only the beginning. The next phase would determine not just the fate of humanity, but of countless species across the galaxy. She thought of the allies they'd made, the technologies they'd discovered, and the human spirit that had carried them this far. They were outgunned and outnumbered, but they had something the Zarkonians couldn't understand: hope. "Aria," Chen said softly, "begin compiling all the data we've gathered. When we reach Earth, we're going to need every advantage we can get." As the AI acknowledged the order, Chen felt a fierce determination well up inside her. The Zarkonians thought they were dealing with a primitive species, easy prey for their empire. They were about to learn just how wrong they were. Humanity had reached the stars, and they would not go quietly into the night. The galaxy was about to witness what happened when the indomitable human spirit was pushed to its limits, and Chen had a feeling that even the stars themselves would remember what was about to unfold. Interstellar diplomacy. The Horizon dropped out of warp on the outskirts of the Sol system, the familiar sight of home bringing a mixture of relief and anxiety to the crew. Earth hung in the distance, a blue marble suspended in the void, blissfully unaware of the galactic drama unfolding around it. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her posture rigid with tension. "Open a channel to Earth Defense Command," she ordered. As the communications officer worked to establish a secure link, Chen turned to Zalthera, who had become an unofficial ambassador for their alien allies. "Are you ready for this?" she asked softly. The Nilari's multifaceted eyes shimmered with determination. "We have no choice but to be ready, Captain. The fate of all our peoples hangs in the balance." The view screen flickered to life, revealing the stern face of Admiral Helena Ortiz, head of Earth Defense Command. Her eyes widened slightly at the sight of Zalthera, but quickly regained their professional composure. "Captain Chen," Ortiz said, her voice crisp, "your sudden return and unusual company suggest this isn't a social call." Chen nodded grimly. "Admiral, we've made first contact with multiple alien species, and I'm afraid I bring news of an imminent threat to Earth and all of humanity." Over the next hour, Chen, her crew, and their alien allies briefed Earth's leadership on the Zarkonian threat, their encounters, and the coalition they'd begun to form. As the briefing concluded, a heavy silence fell over both sides of the transmission. Admiral Ortiz was the first to break it. "This is unprecedented. We're looking at a potential war on a scale humanity has never faced before." "With all due respect, Admiral," Chen replied, "the war has already begun. The question now is whether Earth will stand with the other free species of the galaxy or try to face this threat alone." Ortiz's expression hardened. "You're asking us to commit to an interstellar war based on the word of aliens we just met and the experiences of one ship." Before Chen could respond, Zalthera stepped forward. "Your caution is understandable, Admiral. But know this, if Earth stands alone, it will fall, just as my homeworld did. Together, we have a chance not just to survive, but to end the Zarkonian threat once and for all." The Admiral studied the alien for a long moment before sighing. "I'll convene an emergency session of the United Earth Council. In the meantime, Captain Chen, bring the Horizon to Earth. We'll need to debrief your crew thoroughly." As the transmission ended, Chen turned to her crew. "Well done, everyone. But our job is far from over. We need to convince Earth's leaders not just of the threat we face, but of the opportunity we have to make a difference on a galactic scale." The next few days were a whirlwind of debriefings, technological demonstrations, and tense negotiations. The Horizon's crew worked tirelessly alongside their alien allies to make Earth's leaders understand the full scope of the situation. Dr. Patel and her team showcased the advancements they'd made by integrating alien technology with human ingenuity. Araya demonstrated her enhanced capabilities, presenting predictive models of Zarkonian expansion that sent shockwaves through Earth's scientific community. But it was the personal stories that seemed to have the most impact. Zalthera's account of the fall of the Nilari homeworld brought tears to the eyes of hardened military officers. Other alien refugees shared their experiences, painting a vivid picture of the devastation the Zarkonians left in their wake. As the United Earth Council debated, Shen found herself in a heated discussion with a group of skeptical officials. "You're asking us to trust these aliens implicitly," one argued. "How do we know this isn't some elaborate ruse to weaken Earth's defenses?" Chen's patience, worn thin by days of similar arguments, finally snapped. "With all due respect, Counselor, that's exactly the kind of narrow-minded thinking that could doom us all. We're not just facing a threat, we're being offered a chance to take our place among the stars, to be part of something greater than ourselves." She gestured to the window, where Earth hung in the black sky. "Look at that. Our beautiful, fragile home. Now imagine countless worlds like it, full of life and potential, all facing annihilation. We have the power to make a difference, not just for ourselves, but for an entire galaxy of sentient beings. Isn't that worth the risk?" Her impassioned speech seemed to strike a chord. Slowly but surely, the tide of opinion began to turn. On the 5th day since their return, Chen and her allies were summoned before the full United Earth Council. The great chamber fell silent as they entered, all eyes fixed on the diverse group of humans and aliens. Council President Yuki Tanaka stood, her face solemn. "Captain Chen, honored representatives of our galactic neighbors, we have reached a decision." Chen held her breath, acutely aware of the weight of this moment. After careful consideration of all the evidence presented, Tanaka continued, "The United Earth Council has voted to join the interstellar coalition against the Zarkonian Empire. Furthermore, we commit to sharing our technology, particularly our Alcubierre drive, with our allies in this fight." A collective exhale seemed to sweep through the chamber. Chen felt a wave of relief wash over her, tempered by the knowledge of the enormous challenges that lay ahead. Tanaka wasn't finished. "Captain Chen, in recognition of your exemplary service and unique experience, you are hereby promoted to the rank of Admiral. You will lead Earth's contribution to this coalition, effective immediately." Chen stood, stunned for a moment, before snapping to attention. "I'm honored, Madam President. I won't let you down." As the council session adjourned, Chen found herself surrounded by her crew and alien allies, all offering congratulations and support. But there was no time to celebrate. They had a war to prepare for. In the days that followed, Earth became a hive of activity. Shipyards that had lain dormant for decades were reactivated, retooled to produce vessels equipped with Alcubierre drives. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, integrating alien technology with human systems. Chen, now Admiral Chen, coordinated it all from her new flagship, the Horizon Aya. The advanced vessel was a testament to what could be achieved when different species worked together, combining the best of human, Nilari, and other alien technologies. As Earth's first interstellar battle fleet took shape, Chen received word that other species, inspired by humanity's stand, were joining the coalition. The galaxy was uniting against the Zarkonian threat. But even as hope grew, so did the danger. ARIA's predictive models showed the Zarkonians massing for a major offensive. The coming battle would determine the fate of not just Earth, but countless worlds across the galaxy. Standing on the bridge of the Horizon Aya, surrounded by a crew that now included humans and aliens working side by side, Admiral Sarah Chen gazed out at the assembled fleet. Ships of various designs and origins hung in formation, a physical representation of the unity they'd achieved. "Admiral," her XO reported, "all ships report ready. The coalition fleet awaits your command." Chen took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. With a nod, she gave the order that would change the course of galactic history. "All ships, prepare for warp jump. We take the fight to the Zarkonians." As the fleet engaged their Alcubierre drives, disappearing in a dazzling display of blue-white light, Chen couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. From a single ship making first contact to leading an interstellar armada. The final battle loomed, and the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. But Chen knew one thing for certain. Humanity had found its place among the stars, and they would fight with everything they had to keep it. Humanity's place in the galaxy. The coalition fleet dropped out of warp at the edge of the Zarkonian home system, a dazzling array of ships from a dozen different species. At the heart of the formation, the Horizon Eye stood as a testament to interspecies cooperation and human ingenuity. Admiral Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. The Zarkonian defense fleet was massive, easily outnumbering the coalition forces 2-1. But numbers weren't everything. "All ships, battle stations," Chen ordered, her voice calm despite the tension. "Remember your training and trust in each other. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for every species that has suffered under Zarkonian oppression." As if on cue, the enemy fleet began to move. Thousands of Zarkonian warships advanced, their weapon systems charging. "Admiral," Aria's voice cut through the tense silence, "I've detected a vulnerability in the Zarkonian fleet's formation. Their flagship, the Eternal Dominion, is coordinating their movements. If we can take it out, it could throw their entire fleet into disarray." Chen nodded, a plan already forming in her mind. "Relay the coordinates to all ships. Commander Torres, prepare a strike team. We're going to board that flagship." Torres's eyes widened. "Board it?" "Admiral, with all due respect, it's a risk we have to take." Chen cut him off. "Our Alcubierre drives give us an advantage they won't expect. We can jump right into their hangar bay." As the rest of the coalition fleet engaged the Zarkonians in a massive space battle, the Horizon Aya made its daring move. In a flash of blue-white light, they appeared inside the Eternal Dominion's main hangar, catching the Zarkonians completely off guard. Chen led the strike team herself, fighting their way through the massive ship's corridors. The combination of human tactical thinking, Nilari sensor tech, and weapons borrowed from half a dozen alien species proved devastatingly effective against the surprise Zarkonians. As they fought their way to the bridge, Chen couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them here. From that first encounter with Vex Thor's ship to leading an interstellar alliance, humanity had come so far in such a short time. The doors to the Zarkonian bridge blew open, and Chen's team stormed in. There, surrounded by his officers, stood Supreme Admiral Zexkar, the leader of the Zarkonian Empire. "Impossible," Zexkar hissed, his 4 eyes wide with disbelief. "How did you? You underestimated us." "Admiral," Chen replied, her weapon trained on the Zarkonian leader. "You called us primitive, but you fail to understand that our greatest strength lies not in our technology, but in our ability to adapt, to cooperate, to see beyond our differences." As Chen's team secured the bridge, Araya's voice came through her comm. "Admiral, I've accessed their central computer. I can shut down their entire fleet's weapons and propulsion systems." Chen nodded. "Do it." Across the battlefield, Zarkonian ships suddenly went dark, their weapons powering down and engines failing. The tide of battle turned in an instant. Zexkar, seeing his empire crumbling before his eyes, slumped in defeat. "How?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. "How did primitives like you defeat us?" Chen holstered her weapon and approached the fallen leader. "Because we're not primitive, Zexkar. We're explorers, dreamers, innovators. We came to the stars not to conquer, but to learn, to grow, to become part of something greater than ourselves." She gestured to her diverse team, humans standing shoulder to shoulder with aliens of various species. "This is our strength, unity in diversity, the ability to see the best in each other and work together towards a common goal. Something your empire, for all its technological advancements, never understood." As the last of the Zarkonian ships surrendered, Chen opened a channel to the coalition fleet. "This is Admiral Chen. The Zarkonian leadership has been neutralized. The war is over. We've won." Cheers erupted across every ship in the fleet. Centuries of Zarkonian oppression had come to an end, not through overwhelming force, but through cooperation, innovation, and the indomitable spirit of free peoples united against tyranny. In the days that followed, representatives from every species in the coalition gathered to discuss the future. The Zarkonian Empire was dismantled, its conquered worlds freed. A new era of interstellar cooperation was dawning. At the center of it all was Earth. Humanity, once thought of as primitive by the Zarkonians, was now seen as a unifying force in the galaxy. The Alcubierre drive, combined with technology shared by their alien allies, had opened up the stars in ways previously unimaginable. A month after the final battle, Admiral Sarah Chen stood before the newly formed Galactic Council. Representatives from dozens of species filled the Grand Chamber, their differences set aside in the spirit of unity that had won the war. "Today," Chen began, her voice carrying across the hushed room, "we stand at the dawn of a new age. An age where the diversity of life across our galaxy is not seen as a source of conflict, but as our greatest strength." She paused, looking out at the assembled delegates. "Humanity is honored to take its place among the stars, not as conquerors or saviors, but as partners. We bring with us our curiosity, our creativity, our unwavering spirit of exploration and discovery. And we eagerly look forward to learning from all of you, to growing together as we face the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead." As Chen concluded her speech, the chamber erupted in applause. The galaxy was entering a new era of peace, cooperation, and shared discovery. And humanity, once dismissed as primitive, had played a pivotal role in making it happen. Back on the horizon Io, Chen stood by the window, gazing out at the stars. Commander Torres joined her, a look of wonder still on his face. "Did you ever imagine it would turn out like this?" he asked. Chen smiled, shaking her head. "Never. When we first encountered the Zarkonians, I was just hoping we'd survive. But this," she gestured to the ships of various alien designs flying in formation with Earth vessels, "this is beyond anything I could have dreamed." "So what's next, Admiral?" Torres asked. Chen's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Next? We explore, Commander. We learn. We grow. The galaxy is vast, and we've only scratched the surface. Who knows what wonders, or challenges, await us out there? As if in response to her words, a notification chimed on the bridge. A new anomaly had been detected at the edge of known space, something unlike anything they'd encountered before. Chen straightened her uniform, a familiar sense of anticipation building in her chest. "Well, Commander," she said with a grin, "shall we go see what's out there?" As the Horizon Aya prepared to jump to warp, Chen couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity had not only found its place among the stars, but had helped forge a new path for all sentient beings in the galaxy. The ship disappeared in a flash of blue-white light, heading towards the unknown. Whatever lay ahead, Chen knew one thing for certain: humanity was ready for it. They had faced the crucible of interstellar conflict and emerged stronger, wiser, and more united than ever before. The stars awaited, and humanity, along with their new allies, was ready to embrace the endless possibilities of the cosmos. The adventure, it seemed, was only just beginning.